Let's take just a second to see if we can visualize graphically what is going on when I compose functions with one another. So remember that we can take two functions, and when I combine these two functions together in a particular order, what's going to happen when I compose them with each other is I end up with an entirely new function as the output. So what we are looking at here is I've got one function f of x, which you can see here by this red line. I have another function g of x, which you can see here by this blue line. And if I were to compose the two functions together, so here is the symbolic representation for f composed with g of x. So whatever values I get out of g of x, I then input them into f of x, and the output of that gives me a brand new y value. So what does the new equation look like, or the new graphical representation look like of f composed with g? Well, over here on the right hand side, we ended up with this black line right here. This black line is the representation, the graphical representation of f composed with g. So you can see that my f function and my g function, when I combined them in a particular order, when I composed them with each other in a particular order, I created a brand new equation over here that is represented by the black line. Now, what would happen if I composed it in the opposite order? What if I composed g with f? So here, this is a green line, I think. This green line is now the result of me composing g with f. Notice that that composition is definitely not the same as the reverse, f with g. So when I compose these two functions together, when I compose f and g together, depending on the order is going to depend upon the output. So let's get rid of these and we'll try another function that's not linear. What if we look at these two functions? You can see here that I have the square root function for f of x. I've got a quadratic function here for g of x. Now remember, when I compose these two functions together, what I am ultimately creating is a brand new function that's going to be graphically displayed over here on the right. So that is the result of composing those two functions together. And just for grins, let's see what g of f looks like. So notice that I composed it in a different way. I ended up with a linear equation. When I composed it originally with f of g, I ended up with this kind of split square root function. So that's what, when we think about composition functions, that's what the functions kind of look like if we wanted to consider them graphically. What's going on when I compose one function with another?